The devil's never blamed for lust, one time. Women are never blamed for lust, one time. Men are cautioned, don't lust after her beauty, but the beauty's never why a man lusts. Lust is always the responsibility of a man or a woman, because women lust too.
The human race is not a vulnerable species. We all experience pain, and if we are being completely honest, we also cause pain to other people on occasion. For many years, Lisa and Doug Weiss have been assisting individuals and couples in overcoming some of the most difficult challenges that are associated with their relationships. They have helped a great number of people through the process of healing after experiencing emotional pain, betrayal, and infidelity in their capacity as relationship experts and therapists. On the other hand, even their own personal journey has not been devoid of challenges. They have been through their own struggles, which ultimately led to their divorce, despite the fact that they have achieved professional success. However, after a number of years had passed, Lisa did not keep quiet and revealed everything. This is Lisa Weiss, a mother who is also a writer. So, what took place? The question is, why did Lisa come out after all these years? Okay, let's begin at the very top. The life and work of Lisa Weiss have left an indelible mark on the field of mental health, with a particular emphasis on the comprehension of the complexities of human feelings and interpersonal connections. Lisa, who was born in 1965, was raised in a setting that encouraged her natural curiosity about the workings of the human mind. Ever since she was a child, she had a strong desire to investigate the ways in which individuals think, feel, and interact with one another. It was her early fascination with psychology that eventually turned out to be the foundation of her professional life. Understanding and empathy were two of the core values that Lisa was taught throughout her childhood. Inquisitiveness, questioning, and the pursuit of the more profound meanings that lie behind human actions were all things that her parents encouraged her to do. These influences laid the groundwork for her subsequent academic endeavors. Because Lisa was particularly interested in the development of relationships and the emotional well-being of other people, she decided to pursue a degree in psychology, also known as psychology. The journey that she took through her academic career was characterized by a deep dedication to comprehending the complexities of the human mind and the ways in which these ideas could be utilized to make people's lives better. Lisa's education extended far beyond the confines of textbooks. Her curiosity led her to investigate the ways in which psychological theories could be utilized to assist individuals in navigating their relationships, coping with emotional challenges, and recovering from past traumatic experiences. During the years that she spent laying the groundwork for her career in clinical psychology, she not only gained an understanding of the theoretical aspects of mental health, but she also honed her ability to listen, empathize, and guide individuals through the challenges that they inevitably face. Lisa was eager to make a difference in the world, so she went into the field of mental health after she had completed her education. When she was just starting out in her career, she had the epiphany that positive therapeutic relationships and emotional support could have a significant impact on the healing process. Her approach to therapy was shaped by this understanding, which led her to concentrate not only on the individual themselves, but also on the dynamics of relationships and the part they played in the process of emotional healing. The approach that Lisa took was not limited to merely providing therapy. Rather, it was centered on enabling individuals to take charge of their own emotional well-being. Her belief was that if individuals were provided with the resources to gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others, they would be better able to navigate the emotional landscape of their lives. As a consequence of this, her sessions of therapy frequently went beyond the conventional approaches. Her clients were encouraged to think about their personal histories, communicate openly, and recognize patterns in their relationships that could be contributing to their struggles. She also encouraged them to communicate openly with her. Her unwavering commitment to the field of mental health led her to fill a wide range of positions, including those in which she worked with individuals, couples, and families. During her career, Lisa specialized in assisting individuals in re-establishing trust, enhancing communication, and recovering from emotional wounds. Over the course of her career, she gained a prominent reputation for her capacity to provide her clients with a secure and non-judgmental environment in which they could freely express themselves and investigate their emotions. Over the course of her career, Lisa broadened her scope of practice to include more than just individual therapy sessions. Having become aware of the necessity of expanding access to mental health education and support, Lisa started advocating for increased awareness of mental health issues in more widespread communities. She was of the opinion that those who struggled with things related to their mental health should not be stigmatized stigmatized and that everyone should be given the chance to recover. Those who struggled with emotional issues, particularly those who were in relationships, found Lisa to be a powerful voice throughout their struggles. She came to the realization that a great number of individuals did not have access to the resources that they required in order to improve their mental health or their relationships. This is when she first became acquainted with Doug. They collaborated to host workshops and seminars that centered on the dynamics of relationships and the process of emotional healing. These events were planned with the intention of providing individuals with useful tools for coping with their feelings, enhancing their ability to communicate, and recovering from traumatic experiences. Lisa's ability to strike a balance between empathy and practical guidance was the defining characteristic that set her apart from others in her field. She did not merely present theories, rather, she did so in the form of practical solutions that individuals could implement in their day-to-day circumstances. Lisa was of the opinion that maintaining one's mental health was a process that lasted a lifetime and that healing was not a quick fix, but rather a process of continuous self-discovery and development. The idea that relationships are essential to one's emotional well-being served as the foundation for her philosophy regarding relationships. Lisa frequently emphasized the significance of establishing robust and supportive connections with other people, whether those connections are romantic, familial, or platonic in nature. In her view, relationships could be a source of solace, but they could also be a source of suffering at times. On top of that, her marriage to Doug is unquestionably a source of suffering for her, but we will get to that later. Being an expert in the field of emotions, Doug Weiss has devoted his life to helping others. How is it that he has caused harm to the people he loves the most? The journey that Doug Weiss has taken is a tale of personal development, dedication, and a profound commitment to assisting other people. However, he makes his own mistakes along the way. Doug's path to becoming a leading figure in the field of mental health was not one that he necessarily planned for. Rather, it was a direction that was shaped by his experiences and a desire to make a difference in the lives of others. Doug was born with an innate curiosity about the human mind. Doug Weiss was born in the 1960s, a decade in which open conversations about psychological well-being and mental health were not always commonplace for the time. The fact that Doug was raised in a typical American household meant that he did not have the luxury of understanding his feelings or the struggles he faced with his mental health in the same way that people do today. Doug was a voracious reader when he was younger, and he had a particular interest in the fields of psychology, relationships, and emotional well-being. Books that investigated human behavior provided him with a sense of comfort, and it was these readings that laid the groundwork for his interest in pursuing a career in the field of mental health professionals. Doug's early years provided him with the opportunity to connect with people from a wide variety of backgrounds, despite the fact that he did not have a straightforward path towards his career. It was the struggles that he saw going on around him that had a significant impact on him. Because of his capacity for empathy, he was able to establish an understanding of the significance of emotional connection, trust, and healing in the lives of individuals. Following his graduation from high school, Doug decided to pursue a degree in psychology. He was interested in this field because it provided him with the opportunity to gain an understanding of the complexities of the human psyche and to assist individuals in navigating the complexities of their emotional lives. The topics of relationships, mental health, and personal growth were at the forefront of his academic journey. When Doug made the decision to pursue a degree in psychology, it marked the beginning of a lifelong commitment to assisting individuals and couples in achieving emotional healing and improving their communication patterns. During the beginning of his career, he began working with people who were struggling with a variety of emotional issues such as traumatic experiences, grief, and difficulties in their relationships. Doug's primary focus was on assisting them in comprehending the emotional challenges they faced and in developing methods to recover. He worked with clients from all walks of life, including those who were coming to terms with traumatic experiences from their childhood, as well as individuals who were navigating the challenges of romantic relationships. The first few years that Doug spent working in the field of mental health were not devoid of difficulties, but they were also packed with opportunities for him to gain valuable knowledge. As a result of his capacity to listen, empathize, and provide constructive guidance, he became a proficient and reliable professional. Throughout the course of his career, Doug has garnered a growing reputation for his compassionate and pragmatic approach to therapy. Not only did his clients appreciate his understanding, but they also appreciated his ability to provide them with advice that could have an immediate impact on their lives. Doug began to broaden the scope of his influence beyond the confines of individual therapy sessions as he gained more experience in the field of mental health. It dawned on him that a great number of individuals required more than just private counseling. Due to Doug's extensive of knowledge and his firm faith in the efficacy of emotional healing, he developed a series of workshops and seminars that focused on addressing common relationship problems, emotional struggles, and various aspects of personal development. These gatherings became an indispensable component of Doug's professional life because they enabled him to communicate with a more extensive audience and impart his expertise to individuals who might not have had the opportunity to participate in individual therapy. During Doug and Lisa's workshops, the primary focus was on imparting useful approaches to the process of emotional healing. It didn't matter if Doug was teaching about how to communicate more effectively, how to understand emotional triggers, or how to overcome past traumas. His teachings were grounded in advice that was applicable to real-world situations. It was his intention to provide the participants with not only theoretical information, but also practical strategies that they could implement in their day-to-day lives. By placing a strong emphasis on self-awareness and healthy communication, Doug distinguished himself from other professionals working in the field of mental health. Doug was aware of the fact that a great number of individuals had difficulties in their relationships due to the fact that they lacked the resources necessary to successfully navigate challenging emotions or communicate with others. In addition to this, he understood that healing not only involved the resolution of issues, but also the promotion of personal development and comprehension. The approach that Doug takes is extremely humanistic. As opposed to merely addressing the symptoms of emotional struggles, he places an emphasis on the significance of gaining an understanding of the underlying causes of these struggles. In his work, he emphasized that healing was not a one-time occurrence, but rather a process that occurs continuously. Doug's philosophy is based on the idea that individuals have the potential to recover and develop if they are provided with the appropriate resources and direction. His work is founded on compassion, patience, and a profound respect for the way in which other people experience their emotional journeys. Doug is becoming aware of the fact that emotional healing is a profoundly individual process and that everyone has their own unique timetable for development. But how was it that he was unable to recognize his own shortcomings, especially after being married for so many years? This is the story of Doug and Lisa Weiss, who have been married for decades, and their story is one of a shared purpose, mutual support, and a profound commitment to making a difference in the lives of other people. The journey that they have taken together spans decades and is marked by significant personal and professional achievements. Their relationship is a testament to the power of partnership, both in marriage and in the work that they do together. From meeting at a psychology conference to successfully raising 2 children and building a life dedicated to advocating for mental health, their relationship is a testament to the power of partnership. At a psychology conference, Doug and Lisa first came into contact with one another. This event would prove to be the ideal setting for the beginning of their relationship. Due to the fact that both of them were enthusiastic about mental health and motivated to assist others, the connection between them was instantaneous. A profound and significant connection was established between them as a result of their mutual fascination with psychological topics, emotional health, and personal development. At the time, they were both highly focused on their careers. However, the fact that they had a common goal of assisting individuals in overcoming emotional challenges and enhancing their relationships brought them together in a manner that neither of them had anticipated. During the conference, they found that they were drawn to the same conversations, where they shared their thoughts and talked about their experiences working with individuals and couples. It was obvious from the beginning that they had similar professional objectives, and as time went on, they came to the realization that their connection covered more than just the fact that they had similar interests. In a short amount of time, Doug and Lisa's relationship flourished, and what began as a professional admiration developed into a personal connection that was founded on mutual respect, trust, and comprehension. Due to the fact that Doug and Lisa's relationship was growing stronger, they started talking about their future, both as individuals and as partners. Their relationship was one of a kind because of their mutual commitment to advocating for mental health and their desire to assist others in making a positive impact on the minds of others. Both of them were aware of the significance of emotional healing, as well as healthy communication and personal development, which were principles that would serve as a foundation for their relationship as well as their professional conduct. Following the conclusion that they would be committed to one another, Doug and Lisa started constructing their life together. They moved forward with a sense of purpose that was shared by all of them, attempting to strike a balance between their personal lives and their professional goals. In addition to making an impact in their individual careers, they desired to do so as a group, thereby amplifying their efforts to assist individuals in recovering from their injuries and developing their potential. Because of the nature of their relationship, their professional collaboration evolved into a natural extension of it. Doug and Lisa Lisa had both been working in the field of mental health for a number of years, but they decided to collaborate in order to expand their reach to a greater number of individuals by organizing educational resources, workshops, and seminars. They came to the realization that when they collaborated, they were able to provide a more holistic approach to the process of emotional healing and the development of relationships. They were able to reach new audiences and have a more profound impact on those who were looking for guidance as a result of their one-of-a-kind partnership, which was both professionally and personally significant. As they worked together to build their careers, they also worked together to build a home that was filled with love and respect. Over time, their mutual enthusiasm for advocating for mental health continued to develop, and it eventually became the foundation of their professional relationship. In order to push one another to take on new challenges and broaden their scope of influence, they encouraged and supported one another. Doug and Lisa were aware of the significance of working together, not only for the purpose of achieving their professional objectives, but also for the purpose of achieving their own personal happiness. During the time that Doug and Lisa were hard at work establishing a prosperous professional life together, they were also concentrating on parenting their children. They managed to maintain a healthy balance between their professional lives and the responsibilities of their family life. They were resolute in their efforts to establish a home environment that reflected the principles that they held dear in their professional lives. There were times when it was difficult to successfully raise children while also pursuing successful careers in psychology. However, Doug and Lisa were able to make it work by placing a high priority on spending time with their family and making certain that their children were brought up with the same values that they promoted to their customers. They encouraged their children to freely and openly express themselves, and they created an environment that was open and supportive for their children. They made it a priority to ensure that their children's emotional well-being was attended to. The children of Doug and Lisa were raised in a home where emotional health was not merely a theoretical concept, but rather a daily practice that was ingrained in their lives. They were encouraged to have conversations about their feelings, struggles, and triumphs, and their parents wanted them to have what they did not have when they were growing up in the 1960s, which was an environment that was supportive. Together as a family, they were able to strike a balance between the hectic schedules of their professional lives and the time they spent together as a unit. It wasn't just about helping other people. It was also about continuing to grow together as a couple. They shared a focus on emotional healing and personal development. While Doug and Lisa were aware that they needed to prioritize their own emotional well-being and invest in their relationship, they also understood that they needed to do the same for the clients that they worked with. They made sure that their connection remained strong and that their relationship continued to develop and change over the years by applying the lessons that they had taught to other people and applying them to their own lives. In the same way that any other relationship does, Doug and Lisa's marriage was not devoid of difficulties. They experienced the highs and lows that come with juggling the demands of a busy professional life with the obligations of a family of their own. And just like everyone else, they had to overcome both personal and professional challenges. On the other hand, it is amusing to note that the most agonizing period occurred many years after their divorce, when Lisa recently disclosed everything, the aftermath of the event. After spending years together, Doug and Lisa Weiss had put together a life that was centered around their shared passions and professional goals. However, their paths eventually diverged, and they found themselves in the position of having to navigate a difficult divorce. Almost immediately after the divorce, Doug began a romantic relationship with Joni Lamb, a woman who, much like Lisa, had a strong desire to assist other people, albeit in a very different setting. It is well known that Joni is well known in the Christian community, particularly for her role in co-founding and hosting The Table, a popular television program that is dedicated to discussing a variety of topics, including faith, family, and personal development. There are a number of Doug's previous relationships that are not comparable to Joni because of her background and career. It was through her work in television, the media, and the ministry that she had established herself as a prominent figure, particularly for her work with women and families. It is widely acknowledged that Joni has achieved a great deal in both her personal and professional life, and she has a significant presence on television. Her own journey was founded on her faith, her commitment to community service, and her desire to assist others in discovering a sense of purpose and success in their lives. A significant portion of Joni's perspective on life was shaped by the fact that she had also been through her own struggles, one of which was the death of her first husband. She was well versed in the process of overcoming personal challenges and was dedicated to providing assistance to others as they went through their own challenges. As a result of her personal experience with loss and grief, she possessed a profound capacity for empathy, which made her an ideal candidate for Doug. At the beginning of Doug and Joni's relationship, it was obvious that they established an instant connection with one another. despite the fact that the time period between Doug's divorce and his relationship with Joni caused some people to raise their eyebrows. Both of them were unambiguous about the genuine connection that joined them. Doug was able to find in Joni someone who could offer him emotional support and a sense of purpose in both their professional and personal lives. It was clear that they both had a profound dedication to assisting other people and working together to overcome the difficulties that life presents they encounter. Throughout her life, Joni Lamb's faith, her family, and her role in the media all played a significant role. A significant portion of her professional life had been spent working in Christian television and ministry, where she had devoted herself to the promotion of values such as love, faith, and community. In the years leading up to her rise to prominence on television, Joni had spent a significant amount of time working behind the scenes in the production of television shows. Because of her strong work ethic and her commitment to helping other people, she had garnered a devoted following. She was deeply committed to using her platform to spread messages of hope, healing, and empowerment, and she was passionate about making an impact on the lives of other people. As a result of her experience with grief, Joni has made it her mission to assist others in achieving healing through the use of faith, prayer, and emotional support. Through her platform, she became a leader in the Christian community, and she used it to spread messages about overcoming adversity and finding recovery. Her story was one of transformation, and it struck a chord with a great number of people who saw her not only as a television host, but also as a guide and mentor for those who were searching for answers during times of suffering. As Doug and Joni's relationship started to progress, the general public started to take notice. A lot of people were quick to form opinions about the new couple, especially considering Doug's previous marriage to Lisa and the speed with which he moved on from that relationship. Despite the fact that some people were concerned about the timing of Doug's new relationship, others saw it as a natural progression of his personal journey. However, Lisa recently became aware of everything and revealed it to him. It is Lisa who reveals everything. The fact that Lisa Weiss has devoted a significant portion of her life to comprehending individuals, particularly the emotional complexities of interpersonal relationships, is the reason why she failed to recognize Doug's shortcomings for a number of years. Recently, however, she went back and looked at the timeline of Doug and Joni's relationship, and then she double-checked her entire marriage to Doug to make sure that everything was in order. The ex-wife of Doug Weiss, who is furious, has just broken the silence and revealed the entire damn thing. He is completely insane, and I have no idea how he could have the audacity to do something like that to the mother of his children. Even though they were not immediately obvious, Lisa and Doug's relationship had always been showing signs of deterioration. Lisa's eyes, on the other hand, did not become fully opened until relatively recently to the extent of the deception that had been taking place right in front of her for a number of years. Doug was someone she had trusted with not only her heart, but also her professional dreams. He had betrayed her in ways that were incomprehensible, and as a result, she was left questioning everything she believed she knew about their life together. In retrospect, Lisa acknowledges that there were indications. However, she was so preoccupied with their shared life, their work, their children, and their public image at the time that she was unable to recognize what was actually taking place. The behavior of Doug, which had previously appeared to be erratic and off-putting, was disregarded as merely a component of his personality, or so she believed. It was assumed that his demanding career and the pressures of their joint professional life were to blame for his frequent business trips, his late nights, and the odd secrecy that surrounded his movements. These things were dismissed as insignificant. Now, however, with a heavy heart, Lisa admits that she was blinded by her own trust in Doug. She says this with a heavy heart. As a result of her desire to avoid seeing the truth, she allowed herself to ignore the warning signs that were placed in front of her. Suddenly, the marriage that she had built with Doug, which had been comfortable and stable in the past, became a web of lies, manipulation, and deceit upon her. Recently, she began to comprehend the full scope of his actions, but this realization did not come to her until recently. For Lisa, the realization that Doug had used his work as a cover for his infidelity was the most painful realization she had ever had. Despite the fact that the business trips were supposed to be a part of their joint professional endeavors, they were nothing more than a smokescreen for his affairs. Doug had always been an expert at compartmentalizing his life, which meant that he was able to keep his personal indiscretions separate from his professional obligations. His actions were concealed through the use of these trips, and he frequently booked private jet flights to ensure that he remained hidden from the public eye and away from suspicion. It is this particular aspect of Doug's behavior that Lisa finds particularly repulsive. Her perspective was that the trips on the private jet were not merely a representation of his wealth or status. Rather, they were an extension of his dishonesty. Doug had constructed a separate world, and Lisa was never intended to be a part of it. The jets were a physical representation of how Doug had designed and constructed this world. It wasn't just the fact that Doug had cheated on Lisa that was hurtful. It was also the deliberate manner in which he had concealed the fact from her. It was as if he had fabricated an entirely different life, one in which she did not even exist, and he had used their mutual wealth and status to facilitate the deception that he had created. She went so far as to confront him about it, and Doug immediately collapsed to the ground, covered his face, and began crying. Nevertheless, it was too little, too late. Lisa is honest enough to admit that she is experiencing a profound sense of betrayal, not only from Doug, but also from herself. Having the benefit of hindsight, she is able to recognize all of the instances in which she ought to have been more aware and vigilant. When Lisa recently found out that Doug had been involved with Joni Lamb, even while they were married, it was a painful revelation for her. There are many people who might anticipate Lisa to be angry with Joni, but she is not. It is not Joni that she perceives as the cause of her suffering. She acknowledges the possibility that Joni, just like herself, may have been drawn into a circumstance that was significantly more complicated than it appeared to be on the surface. The hope that Lisa has is that Joni will not suffer the same kind of pain that she did, and that Doug's actions, regardless of what they may be, will not cause her the same kind of suffering. Lisa is left with a sense of compassion for Joni. She is aware of how simple it is to fall in love with someone who gives the impression of being trustworthy, only to ultimately come to the realization that the trust was misplaced. If you were in Joni's position, would you blame her? Would it have been better for Lisa to take a different action? Leave a comment below and let us know.